This is Let's Talk Football on the Sports Hacks, and I'm delighted to say we're joined once again by Daryl Geraghty, freelance football writer whose work appears in the 42 website, in the Irish Examiner, and on RTE, amongst others, and a regular in the press box at League of Ireland grounds across the country on Fridays, on Saturdays, and sometimes even, Daryl, on Sundays. You're very welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
Let's look ahead to the weekend to come. Derry against Shamrock Rovers in Celtic Park, of all places. First time there's been a soccer match in the GA ground. I thought it was the first time ever, but thankfully I did my research. It's the first time in over 80 years.
Wow.
Simon Collins informed me when I had a look at the Derry Journal website today. So the first time in 80 years for a soccer match, 8,000 capacity. Novelty value alone would suggest there will be a lot of Derry City fans in Celtic Park on Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd like to think so because with the bigger crowd and or bigger capacity, you need a good crowd to just for visuals alone to make the product look good. I know product's not probably the best word to use, but that's what worried me was when I found out with that such apathy and people staying away from the club that it should be a massive occasion. It should be a big celebration, and they pack the place out. But it's almost like it's bad time and almost maybe if a new manager was there, give it a lift or a bounce. But that's my worry. It's just how it'll look, the bigger stadium, and also they have major worries over the pitch. The pitch looks terrible. There's patches everywhere, and there's a J match again. I think last Saturday on it so I'm not sure how that's going to play out. But it might help Derry.
My Twitter feed had a few guys saying that this pitch isn't like, and the Brandywell is not my favourite pitch in the world, the plastic one by any stretch. So I'm delighted that at last they're doing work on it, and Phil Valgardi's obviously making a major contribution to that in terms of putting his hand in his pocket. But you would hope it's a great occasion. It is a big match. Rovers, big game for them going to Derry now.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, they could really put a marker down after having beaten the three Dublin clubs that you would expect to be challenging them to beat then Derry City, who again would have aspirations for the title. That would be a real serious kind of marker, I think, of this is league's on. It's only going one way. Whereas you never know with Derry City, they can be awkward and they have really good players. So, and maybe the pitch might be a leveler then if it is as bad as people are saying and pictures we're seeing. So it could be a leveler.
Did you pick up on Friday? Is there a chance of either James McLean or Michael Duffy or both featuring this weekend, do you think?
Duffy, they're not sure. James McLean should just get to one game. So, but Duffy, they're not sure. They said I think it's a thigh injury, or it's just taking it day by day. But it's one of those things that kind of flares up as he trains, so yeah, they're just managing that.
Obviously, James is back from suspension, but he had started on the bench in Sligo, then he played in Dundalk, so it's still a little bit touch and go with him, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he for the occasion itself, he'd be mad not to use his experience, I guess. I'm not mad on the experiment of playing centre midfield, but again, his experience could help.
Maybe the fact that they won in Dublin means that the manager may have to leave the centre midfield alone and move him somewhere else. We'll wait and see. Alan Reynolds, this isn't getting any easier for them. Daryl, we spoke about this last week as well, but they now go to Inchicore and to play the team and Patrick Ledig that are second in the table and scoring goals again.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a really tough challenge. I think when we spoke the last time Bows had that tough week after Waterford and Sligo. But then I think playing teams like Shamrock Rovers and St. Pat's, where they're a bit more expansive, might give Bows that opportunity then to use their quicker players up front. Whereas if they're going up against a back five and the space isn't there, the pace is really snuffed out. So I think the impetus would be with Pats to go and continue the goal scoring, continue their form. So in a way, it might help us just say this is what we have to do. We're going to maybe try playing the break. But yeah, like the way it's going, like Bows really need to stop this and put in a performance and get 3 points from somewhere. So huge pressure.
And for Shells as well. I mean, they're back at home to draw. The old newsstand, if you like, was open last Friday, wasn't it?
How was it? Yeah, it was. I think when it opened, it coincided with this kind of dip in form as well, and yeah, it was tough. Like you want the crowds to be there, you want to hop in Talga Park, and just the way it's going, I don't know. Like there's questions over Joey's position as well. it doesn't really seem to be like a happy environment where you're turning people away. But it does. It's massive though. You see on the cameras as well. Having it there, it just makes it feel like
Especially on
a
playoffs.
bit more of a stadium. Yeah, than just a
And
side, two sides. So
but you have to think that they've got to beat Drogheda, don't they?
yeah, I think Drogheda could go level with them on points if they don't. So they're Shelbourne. It's almost unthinkable that from the start of the season that they'll be looking over the shoulder that way instead of up. Whereas yeah, they're right back. They're right in it now. If they don't beat them, then I dread to think what the
I
atmosphere
think
will be like.
I think it's a bit early in the season for squeaky pudding time, but it's not far off it probably in all
Yeah,
essence. Two big
that's
games
it.
out west, of course. Galway against Waterford. We discussed Waterford already, and Sligo welcoming Dundalk to the showgrounds on Saturday. Galway against Waterford on Friday. You
You,
couldn't really see anything other than Galway beating Waterford, could you?
not at the moment, no. And you expect always a reaction from like Caulfield's teams will always get a reaction, and you don't want to be in that dressing room for that week after you lose with Caulfield breathing down your neck. So expect a big reaction anyway, and I just think they have too much.
Mhm.
And if Stephen Walsh keeps doing overheads in the goal of season contenders, then yeah, they should have too much.
And Sligo, as you said, a couple of great results from them. They're on a roll, but they're up against a
There,
very informed Dundalk side.
that's it. Yeah, that one's it's so hard to call because, like we said, Sligo pulled everyone back down to them, and it's great to keep that excitement going. Like obviously having recruitment with John Russell is big, and it seems like he has to restart every year, and it kind of takes them a while to get going. Maybe they're getting going a bit earlier with those recent results, but they're a lovely side to watch. But yeah, Dundalk are just they just mean business every game. It's like it's no distractions for them. It's the same settled side as well. So that one's really hard to call, but it's be one of my probably games of the weekend to watch. Definitely.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
we're saying no to VAR, and we're saying
No, absolutely
we're
not.
saying we're saying there's going to be fireworks somewhere along the league this weekend. Certainly, the games and the matchups will suggest that there will be. We look forward to
Yeah.
seeing that experiment up at Celtic Park in Derry, not Celtic Park, as I heard one
Oh.
radio presenter who obviously is reading the news and then gets asked to read the sport as well. But it is Celtic Park in
That's all.
Derry, and we look forward to that live on Virgin Media on Friday. Garlic Garrity, as always, thank you for your time, and we will see you next week.
Thank you. Look forward to it.